For this project, I'm going to show you how to make a glasses case. I've already prepared my fabric. By that I mean I've already cut out my pattern piece. I've already attached the fusible fleece to the exterior part of my fabric, and I have already prepared my darts. So if you're not sure about those steps, I would suggest to see my previous videos on several back tutorials, and I think that process is pretty much covered. The next step of our project would be to add the magnetic snap. What you want to do for the exterior part of the bag would be to add it to the right side, approximately 1.5 inches from the bottom of your fabric, and the bottom of your measurement should be the top of your measurement should be the bottom of your magnetic snap. On the right side of your flap, the lining side of your flap, what you want to also do is measure 7/8 of an inch, and again the top of your measurement is the bottom of your magnetic snap. Now if you're unsure about how to add a magnetic snap to your project, I suggest that you look at my previous video on essential skills. I'm going to do that and come back. Okay, this is the magnetic snap added to the exterior bag piece. This is going to form the front part of my bag, and this is the middle part of the magnetic snap attached to the lining part of my flap. This would form the bottom part of my flap. The next part of our project will be to finish preparing our fabrics. Now what I'm going to do is pretty much sew the darts on all my pieces. That would be the two of my exterior fabric and both of my lining fabric. I'm going to do that and come back. Okay, I've now finished sewing the darts on all my pieces. Just do that. And this would be the dart on the front part of the exterior fabric and the dart on the back of the exterior fabric. Now the next part of our project would be to do the flap. Now what you want to do is do the right side together, lay your fabric right side together, and you want to sew 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around, leaving the top part open. I'm going to do that. This is a result of sewing together the flap. Now what I've done is I've just notched the seam right on the edges there to allow it to turn easier. I'm going to just notch the rest of the seam, then iron out my seam and turn it out, right side out. And then give it a top stitch about 1/8 of an inch all around, of course leaving the top part of your flap open. So I'm going to do that. And okay, this is the final result of my flap. I've notched the seams, turned it the right way out, and did a top stitch of 1/8 of an inch all around, back tacking at both ends. Step would be to put our case together. Now to do this, what we want to do is stitch together the lining of the bag and also stitch together the exterior part of the case. What you want to do when doing the lining piece of the case is of course to leave a 3-inch opening when you do your stitching, and you want to ensure that your darts are completely lined when you stitch both together. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that now and come back. This is the exterior of the case, sewn together with the right side together, and I've just basically turned it the right side out after notching my seams. This is the lining of the bag with the opening at the bottom, the lining of the case, pardon me, and this is the flap. The next step, of course, would be to put everything together. And to do this, what you want to do is to first attach the flap to the bag, the flap to the case. And what you want to do is, of course, match the seams to the flap on either side, pin, and then tack it on your machine. And I tend to do 3 tacks. I do it here, there, and also in the middle. I do this at 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Then after doing that, then we'll dress the case. I'm going to do that now and come back. I've now tacked the lid of the case to the case by just doing a little stitch on either side and also in the middle. The next part, of course, will be to dress your case. What you want to do is take the lining of the bag, wrong side out, and put the exterior part of your bag right side out, sorry. And you want to line up all the edges like so, pin, and line up the edges here, pin. And you also want to ensure that the flap of the case is between the exterior piece and the lining piece. I'm going to just pin those together and then sew all the way around at 0.5 of an inch seam allowance and come back. Okay, I've just sewn all around with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now I'm just going to clean up the bag, notch up the seams, and turn the bag from the opening here by pulling out the exterior piece of the bag through the opening. I'm going to do that. I'm going to notch the seams first and come back. Okay, I've cleaned up the seams, and what I would like to do now is turn the bag the right way out by pulling the exterior piece of the bag through the 3-inch opening we left when sewing the lining piece together. Just gently tug. I tend to be fairly aggressive, but you know, I am a risk taker. To finish up, what you want to do is basically do a top stitch all around your case, all the way around to set the lining in. You also want to do a slip stitch to close up the opening of your lining. I'm going to just stitch this together and do a top stitch all around. Okay, I've now finished the case. I've basically did a stitch around the entire case to set the lining in, and I've also closed the lining inside. Now it's just ready for a nice pair of sunglasses. And we can show it just like so. There you go. This makes a fantastic present for friends, and you can go crazy by basically, if you wanted, you could add buttons and piping. You could do so much with this design. I hope you enjoyed making it, and thank you for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.